I've never seen a Germany that chonky in 1901. Oh my goodness me. Welcome back to the Victorian Age, a primitive time filled with primitive people. Today we're going to be starting off as the Papal States, one of the more minor Italian powers, and we will be going from the papacy under Pope Gregorius's watchful hand, if he survives that long, into forming a full Italian state. Now, the Holy Church starts in a bit of an interesting position. We start with an overwhelming abundance of no bureaucracy, but we have a lot of things we want to spend bureaucracy on. This means we have 100% tax waste. Is that a problem? Yes. Does it also present us with an opportunity? Yes again. So at the start of the game, we're making money from only tariffs. That means the small amount of cash we are allowed to collect when we trade goods exporting and we import them. That is a very small amount at the moment, only £420 a week. Compared to, say, the great economy of Great Britain here with £57.1 million flowing through it, that is not very much money at all. We are also making a bit of money through minting. This is basically printing money. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be basically ignoring tax for as long as we want. It's not going to have any effect on us. For that reason, the first thing I'm going to do is put very low taxes into effect. So it might seem like we're in a very terrible position, but don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to create a libertarian utopia here, or at least we won't be collecting any of those taxes and we'll still have a functioning state, probably. Checking out our market, I can see that we're very low on alcohol and we've got absolutely no ceramics. What we do have at the moment is a very interesting neighbor in Austria. Now, Austria has an abundance of silk. We can use silk to start making luxury clothing. By making luxury clothing in this way, we should hopefully be able to produce more money. You see, we're going to be selling luxuries to the rest of the world and profiting by collecting tariffs on all of those juicy exports. Around us we have two Sicilies, a massive economy absolutely dwarfing ours, and the little city-state of Florence, which is, yes, a bigger economy than us as well. And I bet they're also allowed to collect taxes. Wouldn't that be just swell? Given that we're going to be going down the route of producing clothes, let's get a lathe and work our way up to mechanized workshops. That's going to allow us to produce lots more juicy clothing. You see, whilst we have negative bureaucracy, we can create as many trade routes as we want, and that will be at no additional cost or impact to our economy. So we can do things like export some of our fabric to other nations. We can then make sure to collect tariffs on those exports and make a pretty penny from it. We don't want to have an over-reliance on the silk of the Austrians though, so we will build a silk plantation ourselves after our first additional textile mill is built in Romagna. Bologna will be the heart of our new industrialized nation, and that's just going to be absolutely fantastic. You see, the worst bit about all of this tax waste is that whilst we are not collecting any taxes ourselves, the people across our great papal nation are still paying tax to somebody. That money though is simply vanishing from our economy. We don't even have very astute tax laws, we're only currently doing land-based taxation. We will boost up from hand-sewn clothes into dye workshops. That's also going to create a new class of people in our nation, a capitalist class. We will of course need to import dyes from somewhere though, and I guess British dyes will do just the same as any others. Yes, we're now much further than plus 100% tax waste here, but we're just going to keep ignoring it. Everything is fine.
This is fine.
And we're starting to actually produce too many luxury clothes. We should consider exporting them. Apparently, the Piedmont market, they're in desperate need of luxury clothes, so we'll send them off that way. And of course, we can increase our tariff on that and make a little bit more money. We've now over doubled our tariff income simply by bringing things into our market or selling them from our market. And once we take nationalism, we should then be able to start integrating some of these Italian miners. Oh, number goes up and tariff number is still going up. I think we've now got enough cash to build a construction sector, which should mean that everything goes just that little bit quicker. Yep, bureaucracy is even lower, but somehow, well, I know exactly how, we're making more money than ever before. We are going to be needing some more infrastructure, so the port here in Roma, that's going to get expanded to another level, so we've got more convoys to send our fantastic goods everywhere around the world. Oh, and the industrialists might have gotten just a little bit bigger as a political party with all of these changes. And for that reason, we're going to try and move over to interventionism. Hopefully then, we'll be able to start spending some of this lovely, lovely investment pool cash that we're getting our hands on. The logging camps and textile mills are providing us with plenty of extra money. We built an iron mine. Now I'm going to use that to switch over our tooling workshop to pig iron tools. That will make the market hopefully flush with tools, and tools are really, really useful. We've already switched over our logging camps to make use of them. Now we can do the same with our livestock ranches, giving us a glut of meat, and as soon as we've got extra meat to trade, you know where that's going? Anywhere in the world that wants it. Our definitely poorer neighbor here, Tuscany. Yes, you can see they now only have 2.1 million GDP to our magnificent 2.8. Well, we should do something to help them. And along that line, I'm going to start bankrolling them immediately as a matter of necessity. Annoyingly for us, we didn't manage to get Parma, Modena, or Lucca into our market fast enough. Austria has snapped them up from us. We are going to be able to do something about that eventually, just not immediately. Well, we burnt through our entire gold reserve subsidizing Tuscany, but fortunately we did manage to get an obligation from them right at the end there, and that is going to be absolutely essential. And there we have interventionism now. This means that no longer are we going to have to spend our own precious cash in order to build up this burgeoning textile and furniture manufacturing industry, which by the way is highly, highly profitable at the moment. Ooh la la. But the new jingoist capitalist class are going to be doing a lot of the work for us and investing as much money as we can possibly hope for. Now, we definitely don't want to move out of our holy theocracy. The light of God is the only thing keeping us on the straight and narrow here, so we will be keeping this governance principle. Otherwise, the rest of these laws are going to be pretty malleable. I'm looking at you, voting rights. I'm definitely looking at you. I'm also going to move us over to iron frame construction. Now, that's going to have no impact on our economy because the capitalists are now paying for everything. God bless money, you know? It's just beautiful. We're going to trade in our obligation now for an alliance with Tuscany. And I think we are going to have to go back to bankrolling them once again, just because we'll need another obligation, probably, to propose a trade agreement. Or not. No, now we're very happy to do that. We do want to get them into our customs union as soon as possible, though. Yes, we're going to lose out on that juicy, juicy revenue from all of our exports, because we are exporting a whole lot of stuff here to Tuscany. But we've done that mainly to bamboozle and confuse their market and make them think that we are their favorite trade partner in the whole wide world. We've grabbed another obligation here from Tuscany. Their GDP, though, is completely collapsing in the wake of this trade agreement. I think flooding their market with cheap goods may have shattered their textile industry. Yes, their textile industry is now very unprofitable. Not good for them. And if you're enjoying this video, please pray with that like button. For reasons completely unknown to myself, the Tuscan economy has shrunk dramatically now. Nothing to do with me and my cheap exports. That now means their economy is small enough that they are happy, if I use my obligation, to join my customs union. And this means once we get to becoming a major power, we will have a chance to integrate them into our great nation. Of course, for all of this success, we must give credit where credit is due, not to the workers, but the industrialists that are becoming a technological powerhouse in our nation. They simply don't seem to care about wealth voting. Ironically, the petty bourgeoisie, middle managers, is now active, giving us a whopping 10% boost to bureaucracy, meaning we go from our base 100 up to 110. That's still vastly dwarfed by the 210 we're using for our trade routes. There is absolutely no issue with doing this apparently, and our economy is functioning very, very healthily. We're going to need some sugar though, so I'll get on with that straight away. I think what we'll have to do if we want to get to wealth voting, which we absolutely do, this is a liberalist utopia after all, we're going to have to first go to landed voting. That will definitely upset the industrialists, and then they'll probably be quite happy to move over again to wealth voting. And I didn't even notice, but we have a political movement to do just that. Excellent. Now we've got landed voting, we can hopefully move over into this wealth voting in just a moment. But first we've got some parties are formed, the Conservative Catholics, the left, and the Free Trade Party. Let's have a look at this election and see how it's going. Well, it looks like, unsurprisingly, in the Papal State, the conservative Catholics are predicted to have a landslide victory. Who would have guessed? Well, the results are in, and unsurprisingly, the conservative Catholics have won. They are definitely going to be forming something of an alliance, though, with the Free Trade Party and possibly also the left. And now that we've got the Free Trade Party into government, we're immediately changing our voting laws if we can manage it. And due to the fact taxes are so overwhelmingly low in our nation, there are basically no radicals. Everyone is super happy with the way we're running things. Apparently, libertarianism is the future. There goes landed voting. I think we've somewhat bamboozled the Roman landowners who thought they were in for a great deal, but it turned out it was a slippery slope from landed voting straight into the new, much better wealth voting. This is going to mean that the amount of money in your back pocket influences the votes you've got. Yes, it is strictly worse for the capitalist class than oligarchy here, but it's just going to help out everyone else in our economy overall. You know, we do want some liberty, justice, and freedom for a few people. We're now going to be going down the military tree. We'll need some of this military technology in order to unify the state. You see, at the moment, the Kingdom of God hasn't really expanded since we started in 1836. Now, I'm not blaming the Free Trade Party, but they haven't seemed to have helped us yet. And Pope Gregorius is getting old. He's now 89, the poor fella. Terrifyingly, Two Sicilies has now joined the Austrian market. And Piedmont is in, yes, Piedmont's now in the Russian market. This could be challenging for the rest of this run. In a shocking move that no one expected, the Pope has been caught in some kind of scandal and will now have to step down. Let's check out who the new Pope is. Well, the new Pope is a Republican, strongly opposed to a theocracy. That's something, isn't it? And the left and the Free Trade Party have now merged together. They include the royal folk, the intelligentsia, and of course, the industrialists. You've got the petty bourgeoisie in and the conservative Catholics, but it's really a rowdy bunch here in the mix. To add insult to injury, we're even over our taxation capacity in our capital of Roma. That means that we're taking in minus 3.5% tax from this state, and then on top of that, minus 100% tax waste overall. Yes, bit of a problem really. I think it might finally be time to start employing some people to deal with this tax-based issue. Well, the Roman Curia just found their way booted out of government. We're a theocracy, but who cares what the religious people think? Right, we've got central archives now. We should be able to use that and tell our bureaucrats to start filing their paperwork. That, in theory, once we get it low enough, we'll eliminate this tax waste and finally start making a bit of money from things like consumption taxes. There we go. As we reduce this tax waste, we are actually now pushed closer and closer. We're finally making a tiny amount of income tax and poll tax. But that is not where we want to be making a lot of tax. We want to make our tax on the taxation of things like luxury furniture and luxury clothing. Austria wishes to enter a free trade agreement with us. That would completely destroy our income, as quite a lot of it is coming from tariffs. So of course we're going to have to say no. I call them Austria, but in all actuality, Vienna is no longer under Austrian control. The state of Austria is now a part of mighty Prussia. In 1868, electricity originated not in America, not anywhere in particular other than, yes, you've guessed it, the papacy. And we're going to use that beautiful new electrical substance to improve the efficiency of these logging camps. There are so many choices on the voter cards here in 1869's Papal State campaign. You can choose between the left or alternatively the far left. These are some great choices, both of which advocate for no increases in voting rights. Well, I say that, actually the far left are full of radicals and Republicans, but we are going to ignore their demands pretty much entirely. Well, we've just unlocked professional army. Why have we done that? For the longest time now, Austria has been attacking Moderna, who is apparently their protectorate, and smacking the heck out of them. We don't want the same thing to happen to us, so we've expanded our industries, we've expanded lots of our trade routes. We're now going to start putting out quite a few more barracks to maintain the peace, security, and sovereignty of the Papal State. We are so close to getting Moderna here into our customs union. Oh, goodness gracious me. We're just 1 point off. And then, oh, actually, sorry, if we use our obligation, they would apparently accept. I take it back. An obligation is worth 50. That's a bit of an oversight by me. I thought an obligation was worth 30. Oops. Just a minor snafu here. I said Moderna is coming in. Actually, it's Luca that we grabbed. That's still good. We still like Luca. Luca's great, so no worries there. We are so close to becoming a major power, though. Two Sicilies is slightly ahead of us. The plan now, I guess, is to spend all of this extra cash. We're going to be raising by putting VAT rates up. Yes, consumption tax rates are now at 35%. And we are forcing all of these luxuries that we are producing in excess to be taxed. It's a great system. It's a perfect system. Don't question the system. But we're spending that money to build up, and up. More and more units here. More and more soldiers, more battalions. And these are going to be some of the finest armed and armored battalions in the world. Shrapnel artillery, skirmish infantry, yes, cavalry scouts, and of course I'm not going anywhere near first aid. I don't want to have an opium crisis on my hands. But when we compare that over to the two Sicilies, who are currently still using line infantry and mobile artillery, it's starting to look pretty good. In our government as well, we are at maximum fervor here with the armed forces, so that's going to be helping us out in any conflict that might be arising in the near future. We've also built up something of a navy under Lorenzo here, Admiral Lorenzo, a member of the trade union, which is a little worrying and a jingoist. But I can't imagine this massive far left party will have any impact on the political landscape whatsoever. Yes, the left are, I assume, still firmly in charge. Before we attempt to wade into this war against the two Sicilies, who are backed up by Russia, we probably want to stop exporting all of our luxury clothes over to Russia. That would have been quite a problem if we'd continued down that path and then gone to war. Now, the Russian market is very valuable, but let's move over and try and find some new buyers in the Prussian market instead. Unlocking mutual funds will open up the option for us to make our companies publicly traded. That will decrease bureaucracy and increase the number of capitalists we have in our society, which of course we might be needing in order to combat the politics of this increasingly radical far left. We've just pushed past two Sicilies. We're now in number 13 position. They're at number 14. They do outnumber our troops 2-1, but I'm thinking now is going to be the time to conquer Naples. Naples has an abundance of things like universities, tooling workshops, glassworks. It would be much better if all of this, and by extension around a third of the entire GDP of Sicily, were to join our market. And I think we might also try and grab Calabria. We'll mobilize our troops, we'll begin activating our conscripts, and hopefully everything will go fine. And it looks like there are a whole host of nations that would love to join us, chief amongst whom are the British. If we can get the British in, that will absolutely crush any ideas of Russian aggression. Yeah, so the Russians have joined. Oh, do I get the British or the French? What do the French want? They want a treaty port in Calabria. We don't really want to give that away. A treaty port in Attica. We will absolutely allow the British to have a treaty port in Attica if they simply come and join our little war. Here come the British. Now let's take a look at what their troops are like. Unfortunately, their troops, they seem to be slightly better quality than the Sicilian troops here, but still not the finest troops I've ever seen, no. We're going to try and raid convoys here. That's going to prevent the Russians from reinforcing and resupplying. Well, we'll liberate the two Sicilies. Yes, there's 600,000 men here just next to Roma. Hopefully, everything will go fine with this little war. Unfortunately, the British, they don't seem to have done particularly well here against the Sicilians. We're pushing forwards now. That's good. That's good. Oh my goodness me. So if we lose this war, two Sicilies are going to go for full occupation. Either way, Italy is going to be unified. What we really need to hope for is that we can engage some of these Russian units that have absolutely terrible morale now. Luckily, General Sir Henry Wakeland Smith has issued surprise, and that is working to beat back, massively beat back the Sicilians. This war has only cost the lives of, let's see, how many Italians? Overall, actually quite a few, yes. Overall, it looks like around 180,000 Italians are dead. But most of the deaths here are Russian and British, so that's something, isn't it? And most of the costs are being borne by the Russians and the British as well, so that's all pretty good. I think we're about to absolutely win the war. We've completely broken the spirit here of two Sicilies. However, we want to break them out of this customs union, and to do so, we have to force the Russians to agree to surrender. And as of yet, they're really not very interested in doing that. There we go. That's it. We've smashed two Sicilies. They're now part of the Sicilian market. Beautiful. We're facing some large deficit issues, but we can deal with that. We can deal with that. And I really didn't want to have to do this, but I suppose we're going to have to move to a per capita taxation system in order to take on this new expense. This is how liberty dies, ladies and gentlemen. This is how liberty dies, through Italian unification. But the line must go up. And the poor Sicilians here in Campania, they are struggling. We need to bring them up to our lovely higher standards of living, like middling, just across the border in Lazio. Ignore the fact that the countryside is on fire. That's just a byproduct of this whole unification effort. Well, at this point, I guess it's time to surrender to Greece because we don't want to have to keep paying for those armies. And that means, of course, the Papal States versus Two Sicily war is still ongoing, and it's now between Great Britain and poor little Greece here. God bless them. I'm sure they'll be fine. And it looks like the UK didn't quite get what they wanted. Never mind Britain. Sugar plantations. Yes, we are drastically low on sugar. We'll get some of that going in Campania here. That will fix a whole bunch of problems we've been having in our economy, as almost all of our sugar is coming in from foreign trade routes. Yes. There's per capita taxation. Yes, I know it's a fundamental betrayal of everything we apparently stood for, but we really could do with the extra money by doubling that income tax rate. Don't worry though, we won't be taxing dividends. I can promise you now, that will never change. That is a promise that Alessandro Minabrea here will absolutely stand by. Probably. Because they've lost Campania, they're no longer two Sicilies, they're just Sicily. That's unfortunate for them. And how did you enjoy the Papal States start game with that massive 100% tax inefficiency? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And it's about that time. We've got, full-on border war going in the center of Europe. Everybody's fighting everybody. Communist Austria is currently fighting regular Austria. You note that the Kaiser Ludwig von Scherer here is definitely a communist, but marked by his monarchy and autocratic principles, as opposed to Austria marked by their monarchy and autocratic principles. Now, we've just become a major power, thank the Lord, meaning we can grab Tuscany. And that's going to massively boost our GDP. Oh my goodness me. Tuscany here had a GDP of around 12 million, which was half of our past GDP. And that's all thanks to the fact that we've boosted ourselves on up here. We're now ranked number 12. And I've got an eye on knocking Prussia out and becoming one of the great powers on this fair earth. And there goes Lucca. That's another state we're going to grab straight into our burgeoning economic superpower. This has somewhat thrown parts of our market into chaos, though. We are going to take a little bit of time, I think, to recover this. Though it's definitely been a boost for the new and improved Free Trade Party. They're just the left with a rebranding, that's all they are. We've unlocked ironclads, we're going to switch over to steamships. We're going to switch over to monitors. That will take a little bit of time to percolate through. In an advancement, we're going to have this awful equipment adjustment modifier. But once that goes away, we should have pretty much the best navy in the world. In just a few short months, our truce with Sicily will end, at which point we can launch a leadership play against them. We'll have the support of Modena and Sardinia Piedmont, both of which are our firm supporters in this. And then after that, we should hopefully be able to launch a full-on unification play. And everybody hold your horses. There has been a North Italian uprising led by Queen Camilla Colonna here. Interestingly, she looks a lot like this monarch from across the sea, Victoria of Hanover. I'm sure there's no relation whatsoever. But we must do our utmost to support the North Italians in their plight against both. Oh my goodness, they're going to be at war with both regular Austria and communist Austria as well. We'll put out the call, we will mobilize all divisions. No amount of freedom is too small. We must give everything for our brothers and sisters to the north so that they can then join our new Italian state. And yeah, we're also now at war with regular Austria too. Oh, I didn't notice this. The two Sicilies, they've tried to join in on the fight as well. We might have to bring back our forces to deal with that. Or we could recruit one new general. Yes, let's do that. Let's just grab one new general, mobilize this fella, and then set him on the right path. But it looks like we're actually going to help support the North Italians. We are defending thoroughly well to the north. It's our papal forces defending the Northern Brothers, and that's it. They've revoked the claim on Lombardy, and oh wait. Oh no, they've joined Sardinia Piedmont. That wasn't quite what we were hoping to have happen. Probably should have read through some of the terms and conditions a little more thoroughly. That now makes Sardinia Piedmont one of our competitors in this unification play. Oh no. Oh no, they're a major power. Oh, they've got big armies. We might have backed the wrong horse here. Well, the war seems to be going somewhat in the opposite direction of well. They pushed through here into our Papal State territory. That could be a problem. In a shocking turn of events, the trade unionists and the industrialists and basically everyone have all joined the far left. I'm feeling that there might be some opinions about the state of our democracy. But I wonder who voters will vote for in this free and fair election. It could be anybody. In a result absolutely everyone saw coming, the far left won with 100% of the votes. Freedom is just great. There is trench infantry. Now we're going to switch over to that. This should basically mean we've got the firepower here with trench infantry multiplied by siege artillery to defeat both Sardinia Piedmont, which is part of the Russian sphere of influence to the north, and the Sicilians to the south. We're going to start with the Sicilians in just a moment, as soon as our truce expires in February. And then, once we've launched a leadership play there against those, we'll switch around, go north, and knock the Piedmontese out. Ironically, it looks like Russia are actually happy to join our side in this one and show the Sicilians who they're messing with. We're also going to attempt to puppet Sicily. That's just going to bring them into our market and make sure there's no funny business from them anymore. We launched a surprise naval invasion of Sicily itself. That seems to have worked, and we've kind of cut them in two from both directions. I can't see the Greeks and Sicilians coming back from this one. Southern Italy is basically ours now. So just quickly make peace with Greece. Good. And now I think we should launch a leadership play against Sardinia Piedmont. I think we have the soldiers. I mean, they outnumber us, including the Russians, 4 or 5 to 1. But we have trenches, we have proper artillery. I think it should be all right. We're going to go up to a maximum taxation situation in order to survive this. And I think we'll also have to activate our conscripts as well, yes. I hope we can bring somebody in onto our side, though our infamy could be a bit of a problem with that one. We are calling all of the conscripts up now, everybody. We're going to put a gun into the hands of every man, woman and child in the name of a unified kingdom of God, I mean Italy. One nation that shall stand the test of time, probably. Ooh, this is a lot of infamy, but we're going to try to puppet Sardinia Piedmont. At that point, I think we've basically got this in the bag. War breaks out on the front. And we're straight into combat, though we can grab a bonus by increasing the pay to the armed forces. That's definitely going to work, getting another bit of patriotic fervor going. Oh, it looks like that might have been all we needed to win the day. And we're also apparently now at war with Prussia. That's something I probably should have noticed, but I'm hoping that we can just ignore this war because I don't think we've got any fronts with Prussia. Yeah, I'm hoping that that won't be an issue. Little bit of an ammunition shortage. We're going to deal with that by buying ammunition straight from the British. And hopefully that means we can just smash through here and get to Piedmont, at which point we win the war. Oh, I think that looks like it'll be it then. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we might be about to make Italy. There it is. We've grabbed it. We'll just make peace with Russia quickly. Just say thank you very much. Sail on with that. Yes, we can do it. We can do it, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. It's going to be beautiful. I am ready for it. Oh, Italy. And not just Italy, the Kingdom of Heaven, ladies and gentlemen. We're now the 6th largest in GDP globally. We're this Kingdom of Heaven, not to be confused with a possible Chinese Kingdom of Heaven that can appear at some point in the game. It's just so beautiful, though. We're going to check on the health of our economy because I imagine our market is currently going topsy-turvy. That's probably why we're having these issues. You know, actually, our market looks to be relatively healthy, all in all. We're finally able to domestically produce lead. Oh, thank goodness! It's been far too long. Oh, we've got far too many soldiers. That's the other problem. Back to our 95. Good. It's definitely all a bit of a mess, though. Yeah, everything's kind of up and down and left and right. I think we're making way too much sulfur. Oh, goodness, yeah, we are. Let's sell it to the British. Fantastic. And the Russians, why not? Diversification, that's my motto. Oh, we've made peace now. The Kingdom of Heaven has made peace with Prussia. There was basically no fighting going on there at all. They couldn't invade us navally. We had a far superior naval force. And that now leaves us just with the states of Parma and Modena. Once we've grabbed Parma and Modena, I think it would be fair to say we've taken it all. In order to grab these, though, the entire world's probably going to hate us because we're a massive pariah now. But remember, infamy is just a number. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we're at 112 infamy. That's pretty high. But we're going to grab all of the necessary tools of war that will help us fend off the French, fend off the Austrians, fend everybody off as we attempt to take both of these two states in just a moment. Let's go for it. Let's try to conquer Parma to start with. It's going to be a big play, this one. We've got the cash now. We've got massive national revenue. Income taxes. Yes, I know we said we wouldn't do that, but we've got income taxes, poll taxes, a lot of VAT, still quite a bit of tariffs, and plenty of minting. And just as I suspected, the French have joined the fray here. That could be an issue. The plan here, I suppose, is to crush the enemy at Parma and then move all of those soldiers to the defences here against our western front where France is going to be pushing at us. The French forces are not exactly the same as ours, but generally pretty equivalent. They've even got bicycle messengers providing a little bit of extra offense and some extra capturing potential. Here we are, we're at war, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can finally make the Kingdom of Heaven full and complete. Yeah, I'm thinking that both sides are going to find it really, really difficult to push through. I say that, and it looks like we actually might lose Sardinia, though. That could be an issue. We're definitely losing the naval engagement. Goodness gracious me. Oh, they've gone for a ramming maneuver. That's quite bad for us. We'll send another 30 soldiers here to the Sardinian front. Uh-oh, this could go badly for us. There is Parma. We've got it. Fantastic. Now there's just Modena left, and we've basically got the lot. Our navies are getting absolutely battered here. I guess it's probably because we're outnumbered 2-1. That's probably what it is. Superior firepower can only do so much. Though no one is breaking through here in the Alps. Both sides, I mean, our defense is astronomical, actually. That's pretty good stuff. Oh, we actually managed to take Corsica. That's pretty cool. We're simply just trying to push the war support of France down to make them peace out. And then we can turn our attention to our real goal here, which is grabbing Modena, as well as grabbing South Tyrol, actually. I realize now, South Tyrol was one of the parts of Italy that we really should be having. Yes, it's got North Italians in that area. Oh, and Istria as well. Right, we should probably grab the North Italians from here and also the North Italians from South Tyrol. Well, apparently we're enacting Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité. Universal suffrage is coming into place. That was an event, right? I hope that's not a problem. The government's now made up of a coalition between the free trade, patriotic, and far left. Holy moly, look at Germany though. Oh my goodness me. Germany has become an absolute monster on our northern border. Well, I assume this means that Modena is now free. No, they're a protectorate under Germany. We'll have to give this our best go in a moment. I don't know. I really don't know if this is going to be possible. Kaiser Sigismund, interesting stuff. Wow, goodness me. What are their armies like? Almost 10,000 army power projection. Holy moly. Let's make peace with the French. Who is Germany at war with? They're at war with the Americans, and they're fighting in the Czech uprising. Interesting. We're just going to have a quick election, and then we'll probably go straight into a war. I don't know if we can beat that monster. I've never seen a Germany that chonky in 1901. Oh my goodness me. Well, it looks like everyone just gave up. They just gave up on it. Right. Can we not go to war with them? Do we have a truce? Yes, of course we have a truce for another year. Okay. We're going to need a lot more soldiers if we want to have any hope in hell of defeating that massive German monster to our north. Okay, we've now got concrete fortifications. That should help us if we want to have any hope of attacking and defeating Germany. I think we'll also need to grab some combustion engines as well, just to get some better reconnaissance. There seems to be a general reduction though in both German GDP and their military power. Something is going on inside Germany, inside the universal suffrage monarchy. Oh, they've got universal suffrage as well. I mean, this public schools, dedicated police force, regulatory bodies, propertied women, protected rights. This seems like quite an interestingly positive society we're about to go and attack. I mean, we're great though. We're pretty good. We've got a number of good things going for us as well. Right. Pay no attention to what you're seeing on your screen right now. That's not an issue. Ignore the fact we've just run out of money as well. That's also a non-issue. That's not connected. Hello, welcome to Italy, led by Chairman Felix Farah. No longer the Kingdom of God. We've had to give up on a lot of things in the dream of a unified Italy. We're not the baddies. Standard of living is going up, actually. It's never kind of gone past the high it reached in the 1870s, but it is going up. Literacy's fine. GDP's up. Yeah, it's all good stuff. All good stuff. Well, I suppose the far left finally got their way. Yeah, all of these radicals together have made a monstrosity. Combine that with a patriotic party and everything's probably going fine. You know what? I refuse to be intimidated by this German monster any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We are going to liberate the Italians once and for all. Right, that's it. We're going to take Modena. Even apparently Spain is going to join with these German rascals. We must defend ourselves. We must defend everybody against not being Italian enough. We'll also just add a couple of quick war goals here. We want to grab South Tyrol because that's definitely Italian, and Istria. There's Istria. I'm getting feelings that this might not go that well. Oh goodness me. Oh, there is the war. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at war. Okay, so the Germans have decided not to attack on that front. Does that mean we can attack? Let's wait. We'll wait. We'll push through here first. And then once we've taken Modena, then we'll take the two territories that rightfully belong to us. Quite a lot of shooting going on, but there it is. Modena's fallen almost immediately. And now we're on the offensive. We've only got one general advancing the front. Here he is, Giuseppe Pieronti. Giuseppe is an offensive planner, so that is hopefully going to be the best we can do when we come up against the Germans here. Oh, you know, we might actually be... We're making progress. They have higher defense, but their defenses, even though they're dug in, their defenses are buckling. I think we're about to win the first conflict on the German front here. Our forces floating in the middle of space there, that's That's kind of a weird look. Yeah, that's interesting. But they're going to push through. Oh, there we go. What a big push. We've actually taken everything we need to take now. Oh no, but their defenses are really strong. They've got 800,000 men defending this front. Yeah, that's not good. We actually probably don't want to lose these battles. That's really opposite of good. All right, that's enough attacking. We're now defending. We're defending in perpetuity. I mean, we've got the defense here. Look at this, 241 defense. They're not going to break through our lines unless we're completely incompetent. I mean, we've got floating fortresses here. Look at these floating cannons. We're the technological oh, they've got floating cannons too. This could be problematic, ladies and gentlemen. Meanwhile, France are in the middle of a civil war to overthrow the monarchy here and go to a parliamentary republic. It looks like they're going to win because the chancellor here has the backing of a majority of French troops. And there we go. That is a proper and complete Italy. Viva Italia! Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We're now the #1 great power in the world. Ignore the fact that Great Britain seems to have slightly higher prestige than us. Grr. If we just give that a minute, maybe we'll go up. There we go. We've ascended beyond them. Yes, we're the #1 great power in the world. We don't quite have the highest GDP, but we are simply and utterly the best. But yes, the beautiful Italian nation, a council republic, aka communism. But don't worry, we've still got a state religion. We still have the church in its position of existing, I suppose. But we've got a massive army. We just beat back the Germans, and they're now probably running scared of us. Yes, there's some literacy issues, and yes, the population aren't doing as best as they could in standard of living. But this is, I think, the greatest timeline that Italy could ever have hoped for. Minus all of the death, suffering, and low standard of living, of course. And that's why we go from the Papal States all the way up to Italia. If you've enjoyed this video where I cut Germany down to size, formed the Communist Republic of Italy, and had a lot of other fun, I'm sure you'd enjoy watching the creation of Germany where I cut the rest of the world down to size. If you'd like to see that, click the video on screen now.